In this video, you'll discover how to burn fat faster in the comfort of your home. When a lot of people think about losing weight, they think of uncomfortable practices like hitting the gym day after day and doing excessively hard workouts, following really uncomfortable calorie restrictive diets. But the truth is that neither of those things equate to weight loss. I mean, you can go to the gym and still not lose weight. You can also follow a very uncomfortable, strict diet and not lose weight as well. What does equate to weight loss, time after time though, is mastering your physiology, mastering your hormones. And that's what I want to talk about in this video because it's the most important aspect of weight loss. It's not, the gym, it's not the food that you're eating, it's mastering these hormones. And of course, those things can participate in that process, but if we don't understand the hormones, we can't even get there. So stick around to the end of this video, but before we get started, I'm Dr. Zarowski and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'm gonna help you excel your health and your life. Let's go ahead and talk about these hormones. The first hormone that I wanna talk about is gonna be leptin, because leptin's a very important hormone in this process. In fact, it's considered to be the leading cause of fat gain, the leading cause that people are overweight, obese, you name it. Now, what does this hormone do? This is referred to as the satiety hormone. And essentially what happens is as you eat or as you have a lot of fat accumulation on your body, your body's supposed to send this message to your brain, your hypothalamus, and say, hey, we're full, we're good. We got a lot of fat storage here. We have a lot of, food we just ate. Everything's good. No more hunger should be there. Let's go ahead and shut this thing down. And that way you're able to just go on about your day. But what happens is when leptin resistance is in place, leptin is signaled because you have all that stored fat. Leptin signaled because you just ate a good, full, satiating meal, and then the brain can't hear it. When the brain can't hear it, essentially what happens is, it doesn't know that those things are happening. It doesn't know that you have that stored fat. It doesn't know that you just ate a good, healthy, satiating meal. And from there, what is happening is that you have decreased energy, and it is also signaling, as this leptin is high, it's signaling your body to store fat because it thinks that you're not getting enough food. I mean, these hormones are all here in order to actually protect you from starving. But of course, when they're not working well, they're doing the opposite. They're causing you to get really fat and get overweight. And so what we have to do is master these hormones. So leptin resistance is a big one, okay? And when we think of these different hormones, and I talk about how, some people, it's very difficult for them to lose weight, and it's not their fault in some cases. It's just like the person who wakes up with anxiety every day. It's the person who wakes up with depression. They didn't choose to do it. They woke up that way. It's the same thing when you're trying to lose weight. In many cases, your intent is good and you're doing the right things, but because these hormones are messing with you, you just can't get there. I mean, imagine if you never hear the hormone that tells you you're full. You're going to be hungry all the time. Let's go ahead and keep moving on and talk about insulin resistance. Now, you may be pretty familiar with this one. This one's a little bit more popular. I also talk about it on my channel quite a bit. Insulin resistance is also one of the main fat storing hormones, okay? When you have insulin resistance, that basically means that your insulin is not able to properly shuttle the blood sugar into the cell. When it can't do that, the pancreas keeps producing it, and then you have this insulin surge in the body. So when you have this surging hormone in the body, essentially what happens is it likes to store fat because it's really good at it. And so whenever you're trying to lose weight, we have to make sure that we're always working to go in and decrease our blood sugar by eating foods that are not going to increase our blood sugar, and then of course decrease insulin, because if insulin's high, we just can't tap into that fat storage that we have. And in fact, we actually do the opposite and keep storing fat and accumulating that fat on top of each other. So we have to make sure that we are taking this into consideration. When you think about all the foods you're eating, every food that you look at, think about it. Is it gonna raise my blood sugar? Does it have sugar in it? I mean, some of the even most uncommon foods that you pick up from the grocery stores, like a can of tomatoes, for instance, that you would never think would have sugar in it, in a lot of cases has sugar in it. So we always have to look, is it sugar-free? Is it going to raise my blood sugar? Is it going to cause hyperglycemia? Is it going to cause hyperinsulinemia? We always have to take that into consideration because we want to master insulin if we actually want to lose weight. It's so important. These are the hormones behind weight loss. Next is going to be Gremlin. Now, Gremlin is also a hormone that can just go off the rails and cause your life to be hell when you're trying to lose weight. Now, Gremlin is going to be a hunger hormone. So this basically is a hormone telling you you're hungry. Think of it being the exact opposite of what leptin is doing. So leptin is telling you that you're full. Gremlin is telling you that you're hungry. Now, what's going to trigger ghrelin? Ghrelin is going to be triggered when you are basically having an empty stomach. Okay, so let's say that you ate a meal, 10 hours later, whatever the number is, your stomach is empty, and as a result, ghrelin starts to go up. As ghrelin goes up, your brain, your hypothalamus hears this signal and goes, you're hungry, so you need to eat. So ghrelin goes up, you eat, your stomach's full, ghrelin goes back down. Here's the trouble though, because when people are overweight, when you're obese, when you have a lot of inflammation in your body, when you're unhealthy, a lot of stress, essentially what happens in overweight people is that, they go and they eat a full meal, their stomach's full, and ghrelin just drops a little bit, okay? So think of it this way. A good healthy individual who has a good healthy metabolism, metabolically healthy, the hormones are all functioning well, their ghrelin goes up, they eat a good healthy meal, and then bam, drops down. Someone who's overweight, they eat a good meal, and it just drops a little bit. So you're still getting that signal, I'm hungry, okay? You can see how these hormones are messing with your head and causing you to not get the results that you're looking to get when you're trying to lose weight. So ghrelin is a big one. We're going to keep talking about another hormone, and we're going to then talk about some of the different things you can do in order to stop this whole process. Now, high cortisol. This is a stress hormone. It's one of the main hormones that's going to be pushed out by the adrenals. Now, the adrenals are pushing out this hormone in a response to many things. Maybe you are doing excessive exercise. Maybe it's, your lifestyle, just, stress from work, stress from your home, stress from your relationship, whatever that stress is. When you have high stress, it pushes out this stress hormone. The problem is that this stress hormone actually goes and likes to add to weight gain. And it's been found in many studies that people who are overweight have more cortisol, and also people who have a problem gaining weight have surging cortisol as well. And so, of course, one of the things you have to do is focus on decreasing your cortisol. I mean, that's the easy thing, right? Decrease your cortisol by following a lifestyle that isn't as stressful. Yeah, more easier said than done. But one of the things that is uncommonly known is that when we have high stress and high cortisol, that it's going to lead to that weight gain, and things that you may be doing in order to stop the weight gain can even lead to more stress and cortisol. For instance, exercise. So people want to lose weight, they go and they start hitting the gym. In many cases, they can have some symptoms show up. They even become more unhealthy because they can't handle the stress from the exercise and the stress already occurring physiologically in their body. And so excessive exercise can be a problem. The other thing that can be a big issue is if you're following a really calorie restrictive diet. This can lead to higher cortisol. So you can see how when you're trying to do the right things, things are still going wrong. But the truth is that we have to think back to these hormones. So if we're thinking about losing weight, what is it that's going to cause leptin resistance? What is it that's going to cause your insulin levels to go high? What is it that's going to throw ghrelin off the rails? What is it that's going to go and cause cortisol to be really high in our body? If we think about all these hormones, from there, what we do is we come up with a way to master weight loss. And by the way, if you want to learn more about how to lose weight without exercise, I did a really powerful video. You can check that out right there. I'll also put it in the description below. Next on our list is talking about solutions to these problems, because solutions is where it's at, all right? I mean, we talked about the problems. What do we do about it? The first thing is that we need to follow specific diets that aren't going to be very restrictive and uncomfortable for us, okay? And also specific diets that are actually proven to actually get us results with these hormones. So at the top of our list, we're thinking diets that are going to be anti-inflammatory. Big problem, because a lot of people have so much inflammation in their body. When they have this inflammation, they cannot get these hormones to function properly. A lot of times, due to the inflammation, this is why they can't be heard. That's why you're getting that resistance factor with it. And so we have to follow specific diets. 3 diets right now that are helping a lot of people reverse these patterns is going to be the ketogenic diet. Okay, you're probably familiar with that. If not, I'm going to put resources to everything in the description below. I did lots of videos on all of these topics I'm going to mention. So the ketogenic diet is great. A healthy whole food, low carb diet, getting 100 grams of less of carbohydrates per day, focusing on whole foods, avoiding foods that are also non-inflammatory is going to be important as well. So next is going to be following even a carnivore diet. This is also a diet that can be very good at this time, because so many people have immune issues and inflammatory issues that the carnivore diet really helps shut down that inflammation and that immune problem. Now understand this, that if you have that inflammatory cycle just spiraling out of control in the body, until you shut that cycle down, it is very difficult to unwind these really bad patterns with these hormone resistances. So we have to make sure that we use the proper diet. Like I said, keto, low carb, carnivore is also great. These are great diets at this time in order to help with these problems. According to some of the different research out there, in fact, they're some of the best diets available today. So specific diets is going to be important, but really focusing on anti-inflammatory foods and also anti-inflammatory diets is important. Next is going to be periods of fasting. Periods of fasting really helps these hormones to normalize. It also is going to help the blood sugar to drop lower. It's going to help your insulin levels to stay low. It's going to really, really help all of these hormones collectively. Doing 16 and 8 intermittent fasting is all that needs to be done if you want to start getting some benefit from this, okay? You don't have to jump into a 3-day water fast. You don't have to jump into 1 meal a day. 16 and 8 is going to be good enough, and it's also going to be very effective. And then lastly, as I mentioned already, stop that inflammatory cycle. That inflammatory cycle is so dangerous when we talk about these hormone patterns. So if we can unwind that, follow a healthy diet, we're going to be heading down the right path. Now, if you want to learn more about how you can improve your health, watch this video right here. In good quality food, good healthy fruits and vegetables, there are some different bioactive compounds that some people do not do well with. A lot of people are going to follow the carnivore diet because they're having an autoimmune problem.